What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. This is the Sweat Fest. Maybe we need a better name for that. Sweat Show?
Is it
Sweating
though?
out the final 2 minutes of Seattle and Washington. A stink bomb of a game, 17-9. Currently, Washington. Taylor Heineke's actually played pretty well, and frankly, Washington has dominated this game. The plays prior to Seattle getting the ball just now. I mean, they still have 27 first downs to 6.
Scroll all the way to the bottom. Read that. That's all you need to know. Time possession.
Oh yeah, 41 minutes to 16 minutes.
I mean, that's all you need to know.
The biggest one I thought is plays run 78-38. That is crazy. Like, how is Seattle's defense not just toast?
They are. They just got. I mean, they've gotten lucky, I should say. I mean, the football team just scored, but it was overturned on an incomplete pass. Would have made it 24-9. Heineke had that interception in the, I think, late in the second half, maybe. The tip ball that was intercepted by Jamal Adams, unlucky there. The last 2 nationally televised games haven't been lights out barn burners in terms of points, but
indeed
they've been relatively close. So there's that.
And very exciting, the Gerald Everett over receiving yards gets there. That was one of our podcast props. Also, Gerald Everett first touchdown catch was on the podcast that Sully and I did on Monday. So that's exciting. That cashes. Very nice. And
McKissick had both touchdowns.
That's a dagger for anybody who had, if you had a Junior Gibson as a captain in DFS. Anywho, Gibson still had a monster game. 111 rushing yards, 35 receiving yards, 7 catches.
Let me ask you this: completely healthy, if you're the Denver Broncos, doesn't matter. You can pick your team. Okay. Next year, would you rather have Russ or Aaron Rodgers? Russ just turned 33 today, by the way.
I mean, just for next year or for like the long haul?
Well, they're going to sign a big deal. They're all healthy. The toe's good. The COVID toe's good, and the COVID finger's good for both players. They come back healthy. One's 33 and one's 37 or whatever.
I think I'm probably taking Russ because you're getting there's not going to be
it's probably a 4-year deal for both guys or something.
I don't know that I necessarily completely trust Aaron Rodgers to
do what?
You ask him to age into his early 40s and how he'll play. I mean, he'll probably be fine. We've seen drop off. Is all I'm saying.
From who? Him?
I'm
taking Aaron Rodgers.
Big Ben.
Yeah, but Big Ben doesn't play with the chip on his shoulder that Aaron Rodgers does. He eats the chips on people's shoulders, and then he gets hurt falling off the couch. I'm taking Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. I mean, I would take Russ because you're looking for the long haul, I think, here. And golly, Russ looks awful.
Right on cue.
You may want to check your audio, Wilson.
You and me leave, Debo?
Yeah. Leave and come back and I'll answer questions or something.
You're not the producer.
Yeah.
Maybe it can't be me. It's something like the first time ever. It's not me screwing up. That's lovely. Huge pass interference call on Cameron Curl. I need that throw to get to Lockett's hands. I need 1 catch to win my fantasy matchup this week. How about now, Wilson?
How's that sound?
Sounds much better. It's probably because you got there so early.
I just told Debo he's going to start tweeting at you because we know you pay attention to that. You don't pay attention to the inter-office messages, but you're on Twitter.
I don't. My laptop is a lemon. CBS sent me another. This is 2 straight lemon laptops. I guess I'm a bad coworker, and that's fine. They don't want to send me stuff. There's a lot of time. There's a potentially lot of time left in this game.
Why do you say that?
I mean, if they get oh, Russ, what are you doing?
It's 2nd and 19 as I sit here. What do you have?
I'm way behind. How am I so far behind?
Well, I'm looking at the box score on NFL Jesus, but
you got a terrible sack. You just got to throw the ball.
Yeah, I don't know what
Russell is out of it. Like, he's just not playing like his normal self.
Yeah, his finger hurts. He's got 9 fingers. One has 9 fingers.
He's not using his legs. He
ran once.
What quarterback doesn't throw that away? This is exactly. I mean, look, credit to Brady Quinn. This is exactly what he was talking about with the issue with this finger surgery or this hand surgery. Is that you can tell Russell doesn't trust how the ball is coming out of his fingers, like off of his fingers at the end
Well,
of it.
I don't know why you act surprised about why he's not.
I mean, I'm not. I picked the Washington for the because of
No, you said why didn't he throw the ball away? I mean, he's not
Wait,
doing
throw the
anything.
ball out of bounds. You're out of the pocket. Look at that, everyone! A DK Metcalf sighting.
Wonk, wonk, wonk.
First catch of the night.
By the way, they talked about it on the telecast. It's hysterical that Pete Carroll lined up at fourth and 1 from his own 39, I think it was. No one on planet Earth, Mars, Venus, Jupiter thought he was going for it. I don't even know why he'd go out there and waste time. I don't know why he doesn't go for it. They sort of jokingly said that he said back at USC when he's blowing everyone's doors off, he used to love going for it on 4th down. Yeah, I bet he did. But come on, man. What are you doing?
Oh, smash that like button so we get these likes up early for this. And we'll try to give away a hat tonight. Did we give away one last night? Did we forget to?
And did
bang yeah. Final hours of the store.
44 minutes left. 44 minutes.
44 minutes left.
I'm gonna see if this works, Debo. Since no one will give me any free clothes around here, I'm gonna.
Have you never used a?
Oh,
we got to get Debo. We got to get Sully some kind of podcast swag.
It works. Tell him to hit up the QR code.
Ryan, are you one of those people that when you go to like a restaurant, you don't like the QR code menus?
Actually, I'm fine with it. In all honesty, I didn't start using them till last year.
Maybe just open it in Safari. Like, who cares?
Yeah, I want to make sure it works.
Very controversial.
Why? Because they just have more of your information or whatever?
God, YouTube TV is so far behind.
Why is it controversial, Debo?
I would just say maybe an older group of people that isn't accustomed to using QR codes.
I can see that.
Oh, but you're not talking about privacy concerns. You just mean irritating for old people. Yeah. No, I'm a little more forward thinking than most people.
I'm supposed to do that.
Most people my age, just because it's because I'm smart. Number one. Oh boy, this whole Russ Wilson thing is not working out.
No, it's not.
Where's Geno Smith when you need him?
I mean, you really should have considered going to Geno at some point.
No, stop it.
I'm trying to hit this like button.
I mean, look, he's making fun of me for QR codes. He's not hit a like button on a YouTube page.
It's covered up because I had to. F you, man. It's covered up because I had to freaking.
I can't find a button.
Oh my God, you can't get your audio to work, and it's terrific.
I don't tell you.
Brinson, you want to leave for a minute?
What's that?
You want to leave for a minute, Brinson?
Yeah, sure thing. Bye.
Hit us with questions in the chat. As Seahawks score.
They did?
The Seahawks score. Freddie Swain, 32-yard touchdown reception. Wow.
Oh, dang it to heck. Oh, they got to go for 2. All right, we need them not to get 2. 15 seconds to go.
Ryan is locked into his bet right now.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But, Debo, this take you back to your broadcasting days at Penn State. Wide ass open. You see that?
Wide open. I'm just thankful that I am not 6 minutes behind.
Freddie Swain.
Tyler Heineke does not look happy. So what's going on in the middle of the field here, my man? Where are you going?
I got a Antonio Gibson captain all
who was
Seahawks lineup that's like kind of cooking here.
Who was number 22 in the middle of the field that just got his wearing cement shoes out there?
Oh yeah.
That dude didn't even turn around.
And let you guys see it.
Oh boy.
Well, I'm watching the scoreboard. You can tell me.
Lock it.
Doesn't count on 2-point conversions, does it?
Intercepted.
Oh, by the way, that 2-point extra point that was returned, that was the play of the game. That was the highlight of this game by a million miles. That was awesome. Hey, just like the Super Bowl.
Well, ooh.
Wilson.
What is he trying to argue?
Was
he trying to say that it was like caught by?
He said interference. I don't.
How did I not win with I was down the one catch from Lockett in the second half.
What did you need over? What was the over under?
No, I just needed it for fantasy. One catch one catch. What was Russ trying to do?
He tried to throw an interception, which he was successful at. No one got pushed. What's he talking about? No one's touching anybody. Come on, Russell. And who made the interception? Oh, it was incomplete. Actually, Debo needed the Seahawks to win that game, I feel like, didn't he?
Yeah,
For the Eagles'
Washington
purposes,
is in the mix. They are firmly in the mix.
God, what have they won?
They're not going to win. I don't think.
Oh my God!
I don't know what you're doing.
I mean,
The Seahawks recovered.
the Seahawks recovered. What are you watching?
I'm behind.
Oh God!
How did that happen? That ball took a funny hop.
I can't stand this setup with these stupid notifications. I'm just going to drive me nuts.
Ask for your old computer back.
Your audio's crisping on me.
What's that mean?
I don't know. It's making it's roboting at the end of it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. You got it.
Yeah, what are they talking about?
Oh, he might have gotten it before 10.
I don't think so. Yeah, he did. He got it before 10. That's like a hair before.
Wow.
That's unlucky. And can you touch the recovering team's players before 10 yards? I don't think you can, right? Or can you?
No,
No, but I mean,
Seattle can't touch it. Seattle can't touch it. I mean,
no, but can they touch the other team's player inside the 10 yards?
Because
I don't know if you can go knock them out of the way. I don't know what the rules are inside 10. Where's the special teams ace when we need them?
I don't know inside 10. Hold on. I got to leave and come back. My audio is being weird.
Me and you again.
That's all right.
It's preferred.
Hit the dunk button in absentia.
So what did you go with picks this week?
Let the freaking football team can hang on 8-7. I've been hovering around 500 for a month and a half after that red hot start, but I checked on tallysite.com. Still number one in the country against the spread, Debo.
Number one in the country.
Did Pete have? Oh, Pete had Washington. Dang it.
Everyone did except for I think like one person.
10-5. Let's go.
A lot of people saying that they liked the Week 12 pick show more than any other pick show this year, Brinson.
People really say that?
Yep.
Who all, like people in the office or people in the
more so in the comments, but I could check with the office as well.
It did feel crisper.
What was different?
No Prisco.
Did you and RJ?
Should I throw that in the chat? Pete's having the time of his life.
No Prisco. Where was Prisco?
He just refused to show up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He boycotted it. I don't want to tell him that people said that because it'll be good. I'll be like, I'll say people said that.
Wait, you got to kick it again?
Oh my God. They almost got the dang thing. Yeah.
I thought you just take the ball.
Pete is running his mouth at costumes right now. This is hilarious. I cannot believe I did not get that.
You did almost get it again.
How do you not? I mean, how did Tyler Lockett had 96 yards in the first half on 3 catches, and he didn't see? I don't think he saw. Maybe he saw 1 or 2 targets. The rest of the game, brutal. All right. Anyway,
you got to cut Russell Wilson so Steelers can sign him.
I don't think that's happening. All right, what are we going to talk about here? Cliff and
Cliff Kingsbury.
Set it up for us, Brinson. Sell it. Starting now.
There is a rumor out there started by Adam Schefter, or I guess a report out there that the Cliff Kingsbury and now Urban Meyer has been added to the list as well, that they could be interested in potentially looking at college head coaching jobs. Because if you haven't heard the latest news, Schefter did not report the Urban Meyer thing, just so you know. But Schefter did report that Oklahoma was considering as a possible candidate Arizona Cardinals head coach Cliff Kingsbury. Urban Meyer once coached at Notre Dame. He may have been
Coach Notre Dame,
and I think he was an offensive assistant under Scott Linehan there.
because Bowling Green, Utah.
He was a wide receivers coach for 4 years at Notre Dame.
What was that?
1996 through 2000. He worked with Scott Linehan, but I can't remember if it was at.
So wait, that was after Bowling Green?
No, this was before he became a head coach.
Gosh,
He was there under. He was there for I think maybe 1 year with Lou Holtz, and then with Bob Davie. But I think Scott Linehan was on that staff.
All right, no one cares about Scott Linehan. What's the story?
Well, I mean, it's actually kind of an interesting one, but we can get to it later. Whatever. So yeah, I don't know what the connection was. I can't remember what the connection was there. Anywho, Urban Meyer, coach at Notre Dame, has always talked about how Notre Dame has a special place in his heart and how that's a place he would like to go back and recruit and coach. So Urban's name being floated now that Brian Kelly is leaving Notre Dame to go to LSU. And of course, Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma to go to USC, which, by the way, is going to set off just an insane 72 hours of dominoes in college football coaching as everyone is jockeying to try and find these guys to replace these big gigs, which is going to lead to dominoes trickling down or falling down and bringing up, mid-major coaches. Everyone's been getting contract extensions. These schools apparently have money. Brian Kelly's getting $15 million. Lincoln Riley got an obscene amount of cash too. But the point about Cliff Kingsbury, and actually that's a great segue into the Cliff Kingsbury thing, because it is my understanding and my belief that Cliff Kingsbury has no interest in the Oklahoma job, and that Oklahoma would consider Cliff Kingsbury, but probably isn't hiring a guy who just got fired from the Texas Tech job, tossed out of Lubbock, where he played, by the way, unceremoniously, and then went to Arizona. Cliff only has 1 year left on his contract. He wants a raise and extension. He is 9-2 in first place in the entire NFC, with a franchise quarterback fully secured, who is in the MVP conversation when he's healthy, running his offense. Cliff ain't bouncing.
You just ripping off Charles Robinson straight up, huh? Not even give him credit.
What are you talking about? I mean, everyone knows that. Charles Robinson definitely tweeted it. I quote tweeted Charles.
I'm just saying, you're not giving him credit. That seems like something Cliff Kingsbury would do.
Do you think that Cliff Kingsbury would consider going to Oklahoma, or do you think this is?
No, that's for the reason.
Cliff was asked about it and said, I'm really focused on the Bears right now.
Yeah, but I mean, they asked Lincoln Riley if he was going to take the LSU job. He said no, which is true. They asked Brian Kelly.
He said, I'm not going to be the next LSU coach, is what he said.
They asked Brian Kelly what his plans were, and he said, I got to ask my wife. He mentioned Tomlin's remark when he was asked about the.
He said if a fairy godmother showed up with $250 million, maybe I'll check with my wife. And then the fairy godmother from LSU showed up.
And as someone else noted, no, it's Charles or you or someone else, but Cliff Kingsbury hates recruiting. Well, why would you? I mean, that's all that is. That's all those jobs are, is recruiting guys. By the way, you mentioned Lincoln Riley and the haul he got. Robert Hefner V on Twitter. I don't know if this is true or not, but have you seen what he?
Yeah, I think that's I don't think that's worth speculating on. I think that's more of like internet rumor than.
Well, it's awesome. He only says he got. Oh, he doesn't have a. Maybe someone else mentioned the annual salary. It sounds like it's less than what you mentioned for Brian Kelly. But all right, I won't repeat it. That makes you angry.
So I think it's pretty unlikely that Cliff goes anywhere. I think Cliff gets an extension. Michael Bidwell is the type of owner who would panic at the thought of his 9-2 team losing its head coach to Oklahoma. And also, you're not leaving a number 1 seed NFC team in the middle of a season to go take the Oklahoma job. I mean, like, what kind of garbage is this? Yeah, it's crazy talk. So
plus Spencer Rattler's leaving. Kelly Williams still there. They had like 3 5-star guys already decommit. And again, if you don't like recruiting, you already got your 5-star quarterback. His name's Kyler Murray. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. So I think that Kingsbury is angling for a raise and an extension. He only has 1 year left on his deal. Makes total sense. You get your owner to panic because he's sitting there thinking, oh my God, we're 9-2. I got this coach that's white hot. People want him. I don't think there's any NFL coach. If there was one, it would be Cliff, I guess. But
if I'm the Bidwells, I'm like, All right, man. So he makes $5.5 million a year, and Charles Robinson speculates that he might be looking for $9 or $10 million a year.
That is
If I'm Mike Bidwell, right? It's Mike.
no.
Mr. Bidwell, whatever his first name is, I can't keep up with him. I'm like, all right,
Forgot it.
all right, Cliff, what do you want? I'm not freaking out and overpaying Cliff because I feel
Mike
I don't.
Bidwell?
What does it say?
Anyway, just keep going. Just keep going. Sorry.
I just feel like I'm still
There's
not.
Michael Bidwell. Sorry, Michael Bidwell. Yes,
I'm not sure if Cliff is a good coach or not. He might be. It's hard to tell. He hasn't gotten in the way of Kyler Murray, which is a positive development. But I'm not paying him double his salary. I mean, are you?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to do it, but if I'm just telling, just my sense of it is that Michael Bidwell would just split the difference. I mean, what more than likely would happen is that was a move by Cliff Kingsbury's agent to float that news. And look, if you're Kingsbury's agent, who's Eric Burkhart, you call. He's good at his job. You call.
No, I'm laughing at something else. Go ahead.
You call Oklahoma and you say, man, so you got an opening, huh? My man Cliff over here is killing it now. It's just the problem was Texas Tech, just didn't have the resources, but you got to get him back in get his offense back in college. And Oklahoma was like, all right, well, and I watched the presser today with the Oklahoma people. The AD said, sometimes you have this list of guys that you keep handy in case you need to hire somebody. And then sometimes people you didn't think previously would be available pop up. And like the way he said it sounded like, oh man, sure does seem like they've talked to Kingsbury's people. So at that point, you can legitimately leak out Cliff is being considered for the job, even if he's not going to interview in the middle of the NFL season. It's ridiculous. So
how much would you pay a Steelers beat reporter to ask Mike Tomlin if he wants Oklahoma's job this week?
You need like 9 or 10 million because Tomlin's jumping on that podium and beating you down if you ask him again, and you'll never get any information for the rest of your life. So I think Kingsbury is just angling for cash, and I think he will probably get it.
Yeah.
And look,
I don't know.
This is the time when you angle for cash.
Absolutely.
It's an easy sell.
Don't blame the guy cashing checks. Blame the guy writing them. So I would be like, all right, he's making $5.5 million. He's actually done a good job. I'll give you $7.5 million a year.
And then you say, look, take it to 8 with incentives. If we win the Super,
yeah,
or you say, hey, here's the deal. We want to agree in principle on this contract. If we win the Super Bowl, this goes to 9 or 10, or we make it to the NFC Championship game. And I think that's perfectly fine.
So
the
audio.
The other guy, Urban Meyer.
Wait 1 second.
Yeah.
All right, Debo's got that. Go ahead and talk about that.
Yeah. So a Pete tweet from a few minutes ago. How many Jaguars fans hope Urban Meyer goes to Notre Dame? I bet it's all of them. Urban Meyer's things have settled down a little bit, just in the sense that now they're just losing football games and there's not a weekly Urban Meyer related scandal happening in Jacksonville. But by and large, not a great first year for Urban Meyer in Jacksonville in his first run as an NFL head coach. There is probably only, and I say this, knowing that if there was something happened to, like Nick Saban became deathly ill and had to step away. I'm just saying, there was probably only one job that Urban could justifiably walk away from the Jaguars in the middle of or at the end of his first year to take in college and have people be like, okay, kind of give you that one without just berating him for it. And it's Notre Dame. And no one thought Notre Dame was going to come open because Brian Kelly was winning there. Notre Dame might still make the playoffs this year. And Urban, I'm not saying Urban's going to leave for it, but if I'm Notre Dame and I want to win, I am calling Urban Meyer because all he does is win in college football.
Yeah, but it's harder to win at Notre Dame than just about everywhere else in terms of and that's why Brian Kelly left. So can he replicate?
I think he left because of the $15 million, but yeah.
And a chance to legitimately win. You can get any player you want at LSU. You can't through academic reasons.
100%.
Yeah. The money probably didn't hurt, but
you do have a monopoly on Catholic players.
Is Brady Catholic?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know.
Irish Catholic even.
Is that common knowledge? Could be Irish Protestant. I mean, you don't know.
I don't think Irish Protestants are going to Notre Dame, buddy.
Jerome Bettis is Catholic.
Pretty sure Brady Quinn is Catholic. Text him and ask him. You were doing on HQ with doing a. You kowtowed to Brady's demands to put Aiden Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah. Sure, if that's what you want to call
him.
That's
the guy from Michigan that you put number one.
That's him. Yeah. What I was going to say before Purdue put up that tweet from our good buddy Pete, in talking about the where Cliff fits in, if he wants and truly does want $9.5 million, as Charles Robinson's speculating. Bill Belichick's number one at $12.5 million, according to NBC Chicago, published something about a month ago, based on the latest numbers that they found. I don't know if this is how accurate it is or not. I'm going to go pretend it is. Belichick's first at 12.5, Pete Carroll's second at $11 million, Sean Payton third at $9.8 million, John Harbaugh fourth at $9 million. So what you're saying is Cliff Kingsbury would slide into the third spot in between Payton and Harbaugh, ahead of Matt Rule, where he should be, ahead of Sean McVay, Tomlin, Andy Reid, Bruce Arians, Ron Rivera. Now, this ain't a quarterback situation where the next quarterback gets paid. This is a are you truly as good as these coaches situation, and that's why, again, I'm offering him $7.5 million, which puts him just above. It actually only moves him up one spot. He just leapfrogs Ron Rivera. He goes from $5.5 million to $7.5 million, which is what I said. Ron Rivera makes $7 million, so he goes from 11th to 10th. But you make an extra $2 million a year, and you're not Andy Reid, Sean Payton, Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Now you could also say, hey, they're paying Matt Rule $8.5 million in Carolina. And my response is Mike Bidwell would be, well, I'm not David Tepper. So you need to talk to him if you want that sort of money.
Yeah. I just think that you would have you have leverage right now.
Who?
Cliff Kingsbury.
But how much? Does he have $9.5 million leverage, or does he have $7.5 million leverage?
Probably split the baby and go to 8.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I mean, for Cliff Kingsbury, you get that raise and you set things up, and then you build it in where you say, look, if we win the Super Bowl, I'm gonna want significant bonuses and whatnot. Everybody's got those built into their contracts. Do you think Urban, if you're Urban Meyer, are you thinking about bouncing? Because you can, again, really, like, Notre Dame has always been the spot that he's been linked to, rumored to, etc. If you're Urban, are you at least thinking about it? And because you can get out of this Jacksonville thing, and sure, you leave the Jags in the lurch, but you save some face in the event that you are just going to lose for the rest of your time in Jacksonville, which, not that insane an idea.
Well, let's think. Yeah, I've been on the Urban ain't staying bandwagon forever. Let's look at it this way, though. USC job came open early on, and we said, okay, he's leaving there. LSU job came open. Florida job came open. Notre Dame job came open. Of those four, Notre Dame is probably the worst in terms of going somewhere and turning things around, or being competitive, I should say.
Wait, so what were the four again? LSU,
Florida, USC, Notre Dame.
I would disagree. I think USC is 1.
Why is USC 1?
Because Lincoln Riley can go there. It's like Oklahoma, basically. There's nobody to beat to get to the college football playoff.
Okay. Well, I mean, Florida, SEC, you get all those guys, all the Florida kids, all the Georgia kids.
Florida has to play in Georgia's division. And
Urban Meyer crushed at Florida.
Yeah, but Georgia's good now.
Okay. Or Georgia wasn't terrible when he was there. Matthew Stafford was at Georgia when he was there.
Okay. Matthew Stafford won a lot of, hey, Breech. I'm just saying, I don't look at, I think Notre Dame and USC are better jobs because they have easier paths to the college football playoff.
Well, I mean, how many national championships has Brian Kelly won versus what LSU?
Yeah, I don't think Notre Dame has an easy path to the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Because
I was just saying, Breech, that because Brinson was mentioning that should Urban take this Notre Dame job, he's had ties there. He coached there back in the days as an assistant. And I said, well, the USC job came open, then the Florida LSU job, and now Notre Dame. And if I were ranking them, I think Notre Dame would be the least attractive if you had serious consideration about those other three. That's all I'm saying. No thoughts?
Yeah. I didn't hear all the Florida. What was the other ones?
Pay attention. Look up.
You said
Florida, USC, Notre Dame, and LSU.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Notre Dame, I feel like USC is the best in terms of prestige, easiest to get to the national title game because the Pac-12 is the weakest conference. But, LSU, I guess maybe Saban's going to retire, the next 5 years. So, but you got to last that long.
But I'm talking about just the recruiting that you were able to do in those places without the academic regulations of a Notre Dame. And listen, kids from the South don't like going to play in cold weather in general.
This is true.
So
No,
yeah, I mean
look,
Notre
Notre Dame has had a recruiting disadvantage. Brian Kelly's probably going to go to LSU and smash because he's going to be able to. He's
Is
going
he
to
a
get
good recruiter?
guys that he couldn't, like you said, get guys he couldn't get before.
Is he a good recruiter? Like I don't have any idea. Like who's?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, he just alienated a bunch of kids with its
That
BCC
happened.
text he sent out.
Lincoln Riley seems okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, Lincoln, I'm telling you, Lincoln is going to obliterate in the Pac-12 with that offense and that like weather and that setup with those recruits. He had all like basically all of his recruits were from California. That's why they ponied up and paid him, because they were tired of losing California recruits to Oklahoma. Anywho, as it relates to the NFL, the other thing that I think is at least interesting to look at, Matt Rule, very good college coach at both Temple and Baylor, has not been great with the Carolina Panthers. Year 3, big rebuild thing, but the Sam Darnold decision was a bust. They've had some very nice draft picks. I think they're building correctly on defense. Do you think he at least, I mean, he's got to be getting some buzz from these schools who are, who are looking for somebody big to replace the big name that left. I mean, you would think Notre Dame is at least calling Matt Rule, right?
I don't know what the stipulation of his NFL contract is. And as I mentioned, he makes $8.5 million a year. But again, I don't know. I mean, it's a year and a half. It hasn't gone well, as you've noted. So maybe he is looking to
2.5. But yeah, or is it a year and a half? It was only
this is a year and a half.
Wow.
Almost. Yeah, feels like 2.5 for sure.
Right.
But yeah, maybe. I mean, you would say no. I feel like he'd be more likely to stay than Urban Meyer, who I've long felt that he's on the way out before he even unpacked his boxes. But I mean, he doesn't have a quarterback. You can recruit a quarterback easier than you can trade for Deshaun Watson, apparently.
Yep. Smash that like button if you're enjoying the chatter on the old college footballs. Wilson, who you had by the way, like it's crazy how this stuff just changes in college. The other thing too is, if you're an NFL coach, you have to work your ass off, obviously. Like you're not taking a bunch of vacation time. You're not seeing your family very much. College coaches get more. They get more breaks, but their break is longer. Just it definitely is. But they also have to recruit.
Bye.
Let a mic drop.
I guess
They also have to recruit.
Great way to end
Peace.
for Brinson.
Yeah, he just bounced. Maybe he got recruited.
Yeah, that's what he's trying to say, that college coaches have way more time off. Like, no, college coaches are working 24/7 because even when they don't have football practice to worry about, they have to go out and schmooze with the donors. Then they have to go recruit these kids almost year round. And then when you're not recruiting, spring ball has started, and then you're not recruiting more. And then now summer practice has started, and then it's the football season. This is nonstop. I would not want to be, if I had a choice between a college coach and an NFL coach, I am being an NFL coach.
Yeah, it's funny because like I'll talk to like during the draft season or when I'm at the combine or Senior Bowl, and you talk to young coaches, young assistants, and you're like, hey, would you like to get into college? And 99% of them, some of them say, yeah, I wouldn't mind it. Most of them say, I can't deal with the idea of having to babysit and basically be at the every beck and call of 17, 18-year-olds when you're recruiting them. And then once they get to college, have to deal with that part of it. So,
Wilson, let me ask you this. You guys, the question is, can any NFL coaches take college coaching vacancies? What do you think? Because you know whose line Brian Kelly used a couple weeks ago? When he was
Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin's line. You think with Big Ben leaving, Mike might think, I don't feel like sticking around for this rebuild, and maybe he thinks about going to college?
Well,
is there any possible way?
I just asked Brinson, how much would it take for you to ask a Steelers beat reporter to suggest to Mike Tomlin, is he going to take the Notre Dame job? And as he rightly noted, you would get punched in the face. So I would recommend Breech go to Pittsburgh for the Tuesday press conference and ask that very question just to see the reaction. No, he's not. He might, but no one's asking him that after the way he melted down a month ago or whatever, and took it very personally, it seemed like.
Because I feel like other than you guys mentioned Rule, Urban Meyer, Cliff Kingsbury, I feel like those are the only 3 NFL coaches that would even think about leaving for the college.
Wait, who's the third?
Rule.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tomlin was one of them. I was like, I don't think.
If you're a lifetime NFL head coach, there is no way in
college.
Hell you are going to college football.
Yeah.
No way in hell. You're just not doing it. You're staying in the league. All right, do we want to recap Monday Night Football? I'm going to jump out one more time just to
You
reset.
seem
my
okay
mixes.
now, unless
Yeah,
Debo thinks you're bad.
being a B. Hold on a second.
All right, Breech, quickly, as we wait for Brinson to come back, I'm going to go through the coaches here. You tell me if they would be better coaches in college or the NFL, and the likelihood of this. Like that Mike Vrabel seems like he'd be a good college coach.
Yeah, I could see.
He was
I
at
don't
Ohio
think he
State
would
for a while.
leave. Yeah, I think if Ohio State came open and they came calling, that he would absolutely think about it. But I don't think it'd be a very, very short list of jobs that he would even consider.
Let's see. I'm going down the list here. Like Robert Saleh. These are mostly young coaches, just because you have no idea. I don't know Robert Saleh. He would be a good motivational guy, and the recruiting stuff I have no idea about. We talked about Urban Meyer.
We saw Herm Edwards go.
Herm Edwards is actually doing pretty good things, and there's actually speculation. Debo, I can't remember I think he was a 247 guy. I'm not sure, but he did a really good job on HQ on Monday talking about Spencer Rattler transfer, and he mentioned Arizona State as a possibility for Spencer Rattler because that's where he is from, and that would be interesting and make that the Pac-12 even more competitive. Kyle Shanahan.
Nah, he's an NFL guy.
You think so?
I don't think he would even consider it.
Nick Sirianni. How bad does Debo want him to go coach Temple right now?
Debo would drive him to the airport.
This week, yes.
Well, the airport would be stupid.
Like this. Sirianni's brother is like a D3 coach, and there's been times this year where I thought they were on about the same level.
What are you saying about D3 football, Debo? Why don't you just come on and say it?
I'm not saying anything about Hanover College.
Home of Woody Harrelson. By the way, Breech, just so you're clear, Temple's in Philadelphia, so if Debo drove him to the airport, that would be idiotic.
Well, that's what he would do. Sirianni would be like, what? What are you doing, man?
All right, what about Pete Carroll?
No, he's too old. He's not switching.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, he had a very successful college career, but at age 70, you're not moving. You're not making the jump from NFL back to college.
Well, Herm Edwards ain't no spring chicken.
Yeah, but he got hired a while ago.
Okay.
What?
Yeah, I've just tuned him out.
Did you say Herm Edwards? You're like Herm Edwards into spring chicken. He's like, he got hired at least 2 years ago.
Yeah,
he wasn't anywhere near close to 70 when he got hired.
I think Hugh Jackson is Hugh Jackson working with him?
He got hired 3 years ago.
No.
He was 64.
Marvin Lewis is working with him, or at least he
Isn't anywhere close to 70. He was 64.
That's not close to 70. Is 14 close to 20?
That's different, dum-dum.
No, it's the same difference. It's 6 years. Get out of here.
No, that's like saying, do you want me to
No,
punch
it's not. It's the same. It's the
you
same
want me to punch
exact
you
number.
14 times or 20 times or 64 times or 70 times? Which would be worse?
That's not the same thing at all. Because you're talking about you switched the subject from out of age. I brought up 2 age comparisons, and then you invented some cockamamie comparison that made no sense.
Oh, passive aggressive Breech is still peacocking around after that big victory yesterday.
I was trying to use cockamamie today. I'm glad I got it in this early.
Is my video being weird?
No, that's like saying you're like Tommy Boy. Does this tie make my face look fat? No, is it?
Your face makes you look fat.
Yeah, I messed it up. That was my fault.
Yeah, well, you can't take a butcher. You can't shove a T-bone up a butcher's ass and get a good look at it. I think I may have messed.
A lot of guys go to school for 7 years.
Yeah.
They call doctors Breech.
Oh Lord, we got Horns 247 in the chat. How is this happening? Where it's like the various social media channels, like, ooh, somebody
all
mentioned.
Word gets out as soon as Brinson shows up.
Yeah, unlike your computer, their alerts work on their phone, and when Brinson comes online, they go to town.
Stuff ain't working around here today. I'll tell you that much.
You're getting doxxed. Is that what the kids say?
Not really.
Oh God.
I don't think any kid has actually ever said that.
I'm making up.
Maybe Pete Carroll will go to Hanover College. Coach special teams.
Coach special
It's
teams.
not open. The job's not open. Why are you trying to give somebody's job away who's not even fired yet?
Do you think he'll get the corner office in John Breech Hall, where they built that stadium after that fantastic play John Breech made in JV?
Well, the problem is the ceiling is only 5 feet 6 inches high, so I don't know if he would want it.
And the hallways are only they're 55 feet long, 55 yards long, in honor of Breech's fake ability to throw the football.
I thought you were going to say 4 feet wide and 16 miles long, like my room I was in the other night.
Oh yeah, your optical illusion room.
Oh, that was weird, man. All right, let's do this podcast.
All right. This game was awesome.
I loved it.
Mhm. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. This is the Monday Night Football recap. Oh, I guess it is Monday for a few more minutes, November 29th. If you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/pick6, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and you have about 11 minutes to take advantage of our Black Friday sale or Black Friday Cyber Monday sale. There's a QR code right by Ryan Wilson's beautiful bald head, and you can scan it with your phone. It'll take you right there, and you can purchase Pick Six gear 25% off. Go do it now. Look at the hoodie John Breech is wearing. It is incredibly comfortable.
So comfortable.
Yes.
If it wasn't white, I would sleep in it, but I'd sweat through it, so I can't sleep in it.
Oh,
Yes,
I thought you
yes.
just had like a Pick Six decal on because you're pretty pasty. I didn't think you had a shirt on.
Oh, you thought I was naked?
It's a Pick Six podcast
Shirtless?
tattoo.
yeah.
You guys actually shop on Black or Cyber Monday?
If I told you
No.
how much money my wife spent on Cyber Monday, you wouldn't even believe it.
What did she get?
Oh my god!
I don't
know
even
my
want to
wife
talk
didn't
about it. I'll
buy-
get her so upset.
Oh,
What are you
Uh,
making?
no, she didn't buy the Christmas card. She never does it. She always forgets to do it on Cyber
Every
Monday.
single present we had to buy for someone got bought today.
Good for
Oh,
you.
that's good. Yeah, I'm terrible at buying presents.
She sends
I-
me a list. She's very on the ball when it comes to getting Christmas shopping done.
Oh, she lets you know all the Black Friday deals she makes.
She'll let me know on Friday morning, so that way if they show up on Friday, Black Friday, or Cyber Monday, we can snag them, so they'll be cheap. So
I
guess
will
that's
say that
responsible.
it's not a bad idea to go too after you get done purchasing your Pick Six podcast stuff. You can get like these Amazon Fire Sticks for like $20. Nice to have, you know.
Wait, what?
Look-
So I'm playing the what's the last thing I got on Amazon? My wife ordered an inflatable lounge air sofa hammock for the water. We don't have a pool. What are we doing?
Do you have a
Maybe it's for-
bathtub?
Maybe it's for her secret family.
You s-
Okay,
set up the
that's
chair
fine.
around a bathtub.
As long as there's not more junk in my house, I'm okay with it going to the secret family. As long as they don't come over, I have no issue with that.
Tell my secret family not to come over.
Yeah, they can have all the send all the crap over there. All right. fair
All the
enough.
inflatable chairs go to Ryan's secret family.
I mean, what are we doing with that thing? All right.
I can't wait to. You need to record the conversation when you ask her about it.
Anywho, 17-15, Washington takes down Seattle. Seahawks fall to 3-8. Washington now 5-6 back in the playoff mix with multiple divisional games coming up. The NFC East has an appearance that could get pretty spicy down the stretch here. And Mike McCarthy apparently kind of sweating his job. Maybe we can get into that a little bit.
Oh, I
I
didn't know
thought Taylor
that.
Heineke was really good in this game.
Yep.
Considering how early he was pressured. Oh, also hit the like button. We're going to give away a Brinson Sucks hat if we get to a certain number. So smash the like button. Brinson Sucks hat. Don't even have to buy it. So the WFTs just absolutely took the air out of the ball and pounded the football down Seattle's throat. Antonio Gibson, 29 carries, 111 yards. That is ridiculous. Taylor Heineke actually didn't run a whole lot. Gibson also caught 7 plays for 35 yards. We thought he was going to run some. We had that over prop as part of our podcast preview.
What was the over?
18 and a half. He
Wait.
was going to get there, and then he actually he got there was a holding call. Tyler Lockett paved the way for the Seahawks with 3 catches for 96 yards, all of them in the first half.
I heard.
Wilson 20 of 31, 247 yards and 2 touchdowns. That stat line really, frankly, belies how he played. He was not.
If you take off the final drive where he led the touchdown drive and the Freddie Swain 32-yard touchdown with no one covering him, then he looked a lot more like Geno Smith than he did Russell Wilson.
It was a little surprising they didn't go to Geno Smith, to be perfectly honest.
I mean, it's a half dozen of one.
I guess Russell wasn't accurate. His finger, his hand, he's clearly not there.
It's 3 straight weeks where he hasn't been accurate. He's been erratic. The ball isn't going where he wants it. I don't even know how he completed that touchdown to Freddie Swain. That was more impressive based on how he played earlier in the game when it looked like there wasn't a chance he could complete a throw like that. I mean, he just hasn't been good the past 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone's worried long term. It's just a matter of him coming back too soon. And Brinson, you mentioned it either yesterday or earlier in the week that if the Cardinals were not where they are and they were in the thick of this thing, that we might have seen Kyler Murray sooner. So, but luckily they have a backup they trust in Colt McCoy, who I believe went 2-1 in his 3 starts, and now they're on their bye. They'll get Kyler back and they'll be fine. Whereas Russ, had to be rushed back out there because they didn't play well early. Geno Smith struggled after that first game where he came in and almost led them to victory and didn't. And then that's why they're now 3-8. You're playing.
And what does hindsight say now? It says, hey, you could have played Geno Smith these 3 weeks, let Russell Wilson's hand recover, and you would have been 3-8 anyway. Maybe Geno actually wins one of these past 3 games. So it, I just think Russell rushed back, and now their season's down the toilet.
So here's the thing. Even if let's say your theory plays out there, Breech, and Geno plays and they win the game, and now they're 4-7. Does it matter?
I think it matters if they're 4-7 with Russell Wilson, who just had an extra month to heal coming in for the end of the season. Because then I think it makes it, 9-8 becomes possible with a 100% healthy Russell Wilson.
So, we don't know if he's going to be 100% because his fingers still look pretty terrible on Monday night. Jen Silvis in the chat asked, do they shut Russ down now that the season's over? We can say what you want to say. They can win out and go 9-8, but let's be real.
Season is probably over. I mean, they could win out. Yes, they could win out. I don't think they'll shut Russ down because the chances that they could win out are still there.
I don't think he would let them shut him down.
Correct. Exactly. If they shut Russ down, he would demand a trade.
He would quit the team on the spot.
He would say, trade me this offseason. I'm out.
What if they threaten to trade him to Pittsburgh? Then I bet he'll just sit down and be very quiet.
What? If you're like, we're going to trade you to Pittsburgh? And he's like, yeah, see ya.
Are you trying to will that into existence, Ryan?
Yes.
Pittsburgh's a playoff team with Russ.
I guess I got a lot of feelings about that. Let me ask you something else. Actually, we can keep talking about the Seahawks. I have a football team question when we get to there.
Okay. Yeah, they're not going to shut them down. But this team, the problem with this team, frankly, comes back. It's not so much about Russ getting hurt. They haven't drafted well in years.
No.
Their drafts have been a disaster. They trade away all their picks, and they haven't selected a bunch of high quality players. You go up and down their roster, and you really start to see a picture of a team that is, in terms of what I called the other day, ascending assets. In other words, like, I'm not going to call Jamal Adams an ascending asset.
Cost too much.
He costs too much. You traded first round picks for him. They don't have. So
sorry to interrupt you, but Debo has this up on the if you're watching on YouTube, the recent drafts. So they didn't have a first round pick because of Jamal Adams in 2021. Jordan Brooks was a surprise first rounder. There's some late buzz that he might go in first round. I think he's been okay. Darrell Taylor's actually played relatively well. He leads the team in sacks, so that's good. But LJ Collier in 2019 was a huge shock as an edge rusher. He's not really an edge guy, and he doesn't even play now. And then before that, Rashad Penny went in the first round as a running back, and everyone's like, what are you doing? Rashad Penny can't even – I don't know if he's healthy now, but when he is healthy, he can't even get on the field. So to your point, Brinson, there have been a lot of –
Rashad Penny is going to be cut this offseason, almost certainly. Scroll down to 2018. That was Penny, right?
Did he say play?
Yeah, Penny in the first round. And I'm trying to think.
Rashawn Green, who scored the 2-point conversion. So that worked out. But he actually Will Dissly, who I don't think is any longer with the team. Shaq Griffin.
He called a pass tonight.
Oh, Dissly did. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, there are some players on that. I mean, Michael Dixon's been a really good punter. There's some players in that 2018 draft, but like for the most part, it's just the Seahawks have whiffed on these.
They traded up
picks.
to get Michael Dixon.
Imagine that.
They selected.
Here's the thing: you have to hit on every first round pick, and there's no exceptions. And you look across the NFL, really good teams, and I mean, I'll just say it: the Steelers always hit on first round picks. The Patriots.
I think they were Rashad Penny over Nick Chubb.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
But what were the other non-running backs that went in between those two guys? That's
Lamar Jackson.
I don't know if you need Lamar, but what else?
Darius Leonard.
Yes, I mean that there.
Will Hernandez, Austin Corbett, Braden Smith.
The Rashad Penny pick was one that people were like, "What the hell was going on when it happened?" Yeah. That was like that got questioned right away.
Yes, it was a weird pick. They just haven't drafted very well. And they didn't replace their defense.
No, that was a huge problem.
Yeah. I mean, they simply haven't drafted very well. Yeah. As Molly points out, we don't like to talk about the penny pick. I mean,
a penny for your thoughts.
Yeah.
Sorry,
guys. Rashad Penny is flash. He just hadn't stayed healthy, but they didn't need to draft a running back in the first round.
No. It doesn't matter if he's flash or not.
I think mostly what happened is they win the Super Bowl, they go back to the next Super Bowl, and then the Legion of Boom starts to sort of fall apart. And they haven't adjusted to what a more modern style of football, allowing Russ to be Russ.
One of the issues, sorry to interrupt, is that when these quarterbacks come off their rookie deals,
sorry for interrupting. Just interrupting.
when these quarterbacks come off their rookie deals, then you have to start reallocating money much in a much smarter way. And we've seen that happen around the league. It's not just their fault. But Russ was on that rookie deal when I joked earlier in the pre-show about throwing an interception in the end zone. And then you got to start paying them, and you can't pay other guys. And I think that's why the defense fell apart. And that's, that in addition to not making great early round picks has them in their current situation.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't reboot their defense. And so you can't be this team that operates like you're the Legion of Boom with Rush and Marshawn Lynch when you don't really have a run game, you don't have a great offensive line, and you also don't have a defense. It's just a problem.
Other than that,
you got to have something. Yeah.
I mean, they just have Russ. And now Russ is very clearly off his game because, as we've talked about on this podcast and told people, and if you should have been fading the Seahawks the last 3 weeks, Russ, you can tell the ball is not coming off of his hands. He doesn't have the accuracy. He doesn't have the ball placement that he's had his entire career. This is a major injury. Brady Quinn detailed it several weeks in a row on this pod, and it's clearly affecting him. He's not healthy, and we don't know. Now, it's probably going to, at some point, click, but it's probably going to be too late in the season for it to matter.
It's already too late in the season.
Yeah,
Correct.
It's way too late.
Seahawks rushed for 34 yards. That was their third lowest total in Russell Wilson's career, which started in 2012.
But the offense is a problem, but the defense is a bigger problem because of how they want to play football. You can't.
Yeah, but if the offense is clicking, then the defense can be a problem. But the offense is not doing anything because I contend that every defense is bad this year. Like, there's no defense that you're like, all right, they're going to shut down whoever you're playing if they're playing a good team.
Yeah, there's just generally not elite defenses anymore.
Yeah, who's the best
Pats,
defense?
maybe.
Right. I mean, and
they're not shutting you down. They're bend but don't break. Classic pass defense. Yeah, Russ is like in his own head right now with how he's throwing the football. I mean, he wasn't running, like he wasn't doing instinctual stuff that he normally does. He had 2 carries for 16 yards, and that was one of those. And then one of them, he's like diving across for a first down onto his busted hand.
And by the way,
he got desperate because that was their first down in the second half after they went 3 and out 5 straight times.
Yeah. And that 216 that led the team in rushing.
Terrible.
And you mentioned his passing yards at 247. 86 of those came on the final drive. So before that final drive started, he only had 161.
That's not good.
This is an interesting thought from Mark Humes in the chat. The Seahawks need to trade Russ to get back assets, offering to the Eagles for Hurts and picks, probably a win for both teams. Debo, would you do that deal?
What kind of picks we talking?
3 first-rounders?
Nope.
2 first-rounders.
Yeah,
nope.
2 first-rounders and Jalen Hurts. No? Brinson, would you do 2 first-rounders? The 2 bottom first-rounders. I think we're like 9th and 15th. 9th, 15th.
For Russ?
And Jalen Hurts for Russ.
Russ is 33. Happy birthday, Russ. That was his birthday. Monday was his birthday. Not a good birthday.
Would you do that, Breech? 9th, 15th, and Jalen Hurts for Russ Wilson if you're the Eagles?
I would give up a first-round pick in 2022 and one in 2023. I wouldn't give up both this year.
What about that, Debo? The 15th pick in 2022 and then a first-rounder in 2023.
I can get behind that.
Okay.
Because at least you can think, hey, we'll be good in 2022. Hopefully that 2023 pick will be way in the back because we'll make the playoffs, and then you don't feel as bad giving it up.
Actually, I've been thinking about this a lot because every week I do these mock drafts. If you draft a quarterback and you're a terrible football team, every other pick after that and every pick in free agency should be the offensive line. We sort of talked about that last thing. You have to have an offensive line. So the Eagles' offensive line actually isn't terrible. But if they felt like it needed to be improved, I would trade for Russ and use the 2 other first-rounders and first-round picks. I mean, on offensive linemen. Wherever you go, you need to have offensive linemen because without it, it doesn't matter who your quarterback is.
I think the bigger question is what is going to happen with Pete Carroll, because if Russell Wilson's leaving, again, he's 70 years old, and
Notre Dame.
You know, he's not. You don't want to rebuild at 70.
Well, I think that this offseason, so Pete Carroll went out and John Schneider got Shane Waldron as the new OC.
Yeah.
But Pete Carroll basically is not, unless Shane Waldron this is his doing. Right. I mean, maybe it's, maybe everything he said.
They're still not going for it on fourth down. They're still conservative. You're losing on those plays. Those plays are costing you field position, possessions, and ultimately games. So I don't know.
I've long been a Pete Carroll defender, but it is hard to defend him right now because of what they're doing on offense. Like, he brought in a new offensive coordinator who said they were going to run tempo, and they don't do it. They're the only team in the NFL, I believe, with 2 games or less of 60 plays or less. In other words, they just don't. You are not getting plays for Russell Wilson, and a lot of those plays are runs on first down with Alex Collins and everyone knows you're doing it. So the problem, though, is that Jody Allen is the owner, and we don't. The late Paul Allen's wife. We don't
sister.
We don't know
sister.
Sorry, that's right. My bad. I was thinking I got a ownership thing confused. We just don't know how she would handle Russ coming to ownership, because that's what you'd have to do, I think, and saying, because I don't think you can go to John Schneider and say it's either me or Pete. I think you have to go to ownership and say it's either me or Pete, or me or Pete and John. I don't know how this would all play out, but I think ultimately that if you have a newish owner like that, they would tend to side with the people that they work closely with in the structural organization part of the football. Like, they're going to probably side with the front office, right? And say, what do we do here? And then front office would be like, well, you should definitely fire us. So, I mean, it feels like a Russell Wilson trade is coming.
Yeah. And I mean, well, it's funny because, look, you're the owner. The owner is going to have final say whether Russell Wilson gets traded. John Schneider can work out a deal, but that's something where the owner is going to have to green light it, and they're going to have to say, okay, yeah, you can pull the trigger on that and get rid of our star player. And we don't know anything about her as far as, what she wants from the team besides, obviously, you want to win a Super Bowl. Maybe she doesn't want Pete Carroll there anymore. Like, we literally have no idea. And so it definitely adds a mystery element to.
Let me ask you this,
the Seahawks.
Brinson and/or Breech. If she says to Pete, listen, I want you to stay around, but you have to start going for it on fourth down. You have to change the way fundamentally that you coach in these conservative situations. If you're Pete Carroll, what are you saying? As a 70-year-old who's had a lot of success.
I don't think she's.
No, but just for the sake of argument, that's what she says to him. What is Pete Carroll saying?
I mean, I think you're like,
Bye.
all due respect, Jody. I've won a Super Bowl and multiple national championships.
I think that's right.
I think I'll do the play calling and the decision making.
I think you're exactly right.
And then that's where you'd have been the she fires Pete, or
Breech notes. He just moonwalks out of the room and he goes on to whatever he's got next lined up.
I mean, I feel like Pete has a lot of power in Seattle still, even with the way he's coaching.
You say that, but why?
Because he's been there forever and he won a Super Bowl. Like, what has he done to lose power?
People are talking about firing Mike Tomlin. I don't think Pete Carroll's untouchable.
Who's talking about firing Mike Tomlin?
Oh, Steelers fans are talking about that every week.
Fans don't matter. I mean, fans matter, obviously. I know what we mean, like, fans don't matter. Fans don't matter when it comes to
what happens podcast is for the fans. My God.
If the fans matter.
We need to clip it. Clip Brinson saying fans don't matter.
Go Heels.
Go Heels. If the fans mattered, how about Friday night, baby? Go Tar Heels. If the fans mattered, then the Detroit Lions would be good. But they're not.
Well, they fired Jim Caldwell, who, as you might have heard, went 97 back-to-back years and got fired.
All right.
Can I just note that a lot of Pete on a first-name basis was used in that conversation? Just want to bring that up.
Thank you. Yeah, take that, Brinson.
Well, hold on. The rules change when it's someone who has 2 first names. So,
correct.
if you have a first name as a last name, then that is often you
How
use
many
their first
Carols
name.
do you know?
Actually, the Seahawks.
Have you ever watched a Hallmark Christmas movie? Literally every character is named Carol.
Christmas Carol?
Exactly.
It's her last name.
And we don't want people to be confused about whether they're listening to a Hallmark Christmas Carol podcast or a football podcast.
Also,
Ryan.
it's Jody Carroll Allen, so you don't want anybody to be confused.
Is it really? That was believable.
I was like desperately hoping there would be a Carol in the front office of the Seahawks. So we didn't want to get confused with Carol Carter, VP of Human Resources for the Seahawks.
Just saying, I don't want to take us away on this tangent. We should get to this break, but just wanted to note that.
There's a Karen in the front office.
By the way, do you know Archie Bunker's real name? Carol O'Connor.
Isn't that helpful?
Do you know where Chargers coach Brandon Staley went to college? John Carroll. More Carroll.
Or John, as you call it.
That's true.
All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk about the team that actually won the game, the Washington football team.
It's time we start bending the rules.
You ready to say goodbye to our solar system?
Ow, ow!
Hello, old friend.
The Washington football team put themselves back in the conversation for the playoffs, sort of.
Not
Or
even
fights
just a
together,
conversation.
yeah.
They're the number 7 seed
Oh,
right
they are
now.
the 7th seed. Hello, there we go.
They're 4 spots ahead of
They
Debo's
are
team.
the conversation.
Wow, I don't think I realized that. Obviously, didn't realize that.
Knocked out your Minnesota Vikings.
What a plot twist that is. And
It's
frankly,
a plot twist because that is one team we have not mentioned at all. We literally spent time Sunday night talking about which NFC team had the best chance of getting into that 7th spot. Obviously, we mentioned the Vikings. We went down the list. We named the Eagles. We named the Falcons. We named the Saints. We even named the Panthers. We did not name Washington.
And by the way, Breech, they are 5-2 in the NFC, which is why they bumped the Vikings, who were 4-3.
And what does that mean? They're 0-4 against AFC teams.
they're also 3-0 coming out of their bye, and
Ron
they've given
Rivera off the bye.
Ron Rivera off the bye.
Ron Rivera is an Andy Reid disciple. There you go. So coming into the bye, they held the Packers to 24 points. Remember, they had the worst passing defense in all of football, and they weren't great on Monday night. They gave us some big passes. Shout out to the offense for carrying them. But 24 points to the Packers, 17 points to the Broncos, 19 points to Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, 21 to Carolina on the road in a massive game that everyone was pumped up for. And then, of course, they held the Seahawks to 15. They're not a pretty team. This is very much a Ron Rivera sort of squad that is overachieving with the defense coming together. I think the defense is it's playing better now. It's weird because Chase Young is hurt.
Can't play worse.
But I mean, yeah, you can't play worse. But the defense is improved over the last month and a half, and we see this with teams sometimes where the defense takes a little while to come together. Washington has the Raiders up next at the Raiders on Sunday. And then Dallas at Philly, at Dallas, Philly at New York. All due respect to Mike McCarthy, to Jalen Hurts, to Nick Sirianni. Those are winnable games.
This actually works out well for me because I had Washington winning the division back in August.
I got a bet on it. Let's go get it.
So let me put this out there, and then I want to hear your Mike McCarthy rumor, which I haven't heard yet, about him being on the hot seat. Would you rather have, so Washington replaced Minnesota as the 7th team. Minnesota's now 8th. Would you rather have Taylor Heineke or Kirk Cousins to play out the rest of your season to get you to the playoffs?
I think Kirk Cousins, but Taylor Heineke's playing well.
Breech.
I think Kirk Cousins is more talented and more polished, but I know what my ceiling is with Kirk Cousins. We almost saw Taylor Heineke just go out and beat the Buccaneers in the playoffs last year. He was the only one that even played well against them. He beat them. He's a wild card. And so I think you at least have a chance at a win in the playoffs with Heineke. I don't think you have with Cousins just because Cousins is what he is.
History says you don't have. I'm with you. I'm with Heineke. Because if nothing else, Heineke can go crazy one day and just go off. Also, Heineke, you can't tackle him behind the line of scrimmage, apparently. He's incredibly elusive, whereas Kirk Cousins is just asking to get hit and sacked, and that seems to be, and make bad plays down the stretch. What do we got
Washington
here?
has
NFC East
leapfrogged
odds.
the Philadelphia Eagles.
Good boy, Debo.
9-1 is kind of interesting with that, with 2 games, because you're 2 games back of Dallas.
What do you like better, 9-1 or 14-1 with Debo's Eagles?
I like 9-1 with the team that's close
currently
in second
playoffs.
place.
Yeah.
But
the Eagles have their bye. That's right. They're another game in MetLife Stadium against the Jets, and then their bye. I think I would rather have Washington because the Eagles only have 1 game remaining against the Cowboys. They lost the first one at Dallas. And if you're trying to catch Dallas, you even though they're theoretically a better team, you need the games against Dallas because you can guarantee yourself a full game in the standings by beating the Cowboys.
Well, and the ugly part for the Eagles, they don't really have any margin for error, at least when it comes to winning the division, because they're 0-2 in the division right now.
Right.
So if you lose just one of those last 4, you're 3-3 best case scenario. And that just puts you on the outside looking in as far as all those tiebreakers go. Whereas you have Washington and the Cowboys, who are both undefeated in the division right now. If Washington went 4-2 in the division last year, they're 1-0 this year. You have 5 straight games to close the season. And I mean,
3 on the road.
But if you go 4-1 there, you feel pretty good about your chances of winning the division. If
you
forget
go
the Raiders
4-1 in your final 5 division games, yeah, you feel pretty good.
Well, they
What if they
went
go
4-2 in
5-0?
the division. They're 5-2 in their last 7 division games.
If Washington closes 6-0, there's a path to
There's
the
a path.
playoffs.
Nobody's saying that.
What is the Mike McCarthy angle that you have?
Oh, so did you see what let's see. Did you see what
You got COVID, I know that.
yeah, so he's got COVID, so he's not coaching on Thursday. Did you see what he called Dan Quinn when he spoke with USA Today?
Well,
Have you not seen this?
I saw you tweet it, but I
He
just
wouldn't call him the interim coach, right?
Yeah, this is from Jory Epstein of USA Today, who covers the Cowboys there. Cowboys defensive coordinator Dan Quinn. This is what Mike McCarthy confirmed to USA Today. Dan Quinn will be, quote, the point person for the decision-making process, end quote. What are we doing? He won't call him the interim coach. And so I went back and listened to his interview on 105.3 The Fan from Monday morning. And he is he's very sullen and not.
Did he have COVID? Did we know he had COVID Monday morning by that time when you heard the interview or not yet?
No, here's the thing is we did. It was actually reported Sunday, and for some reason, because football was happening, it just blew over. He was put on the COVID list on Sunday, and it wasn't. It didn't come out until today.
So what did he say?
It was weird. They sort of didn't talk about it a ton. They didn't talk about Dan. I don't think it was with the Shannon RJ show. I don't think they asked him who would be calling the plays. I may have missed that part of the interview, but like they were they're like how, what do you do? Like self-evaluation here. Do you have to look like these questions that are you wouldn't ask to a 7-4 head coach who's in first place in the division. It was very
like a Wade Phillips, Jason Garrett situation. That's his concern.
Some people think that will happen with Kellen Moore, but the other thing is, and I was like, they're like, they've lost 3 of 4, and the 3 losses have been ugly. Raiders at home on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
The Chiefs held them to 9 points? And
And I'm dumb. Everybody but McCarthy was put on Sunday. McCarthy was today.
Okay.
So they had 4 guys put on yesterday. Terrence Steele, the right tackle, was one of them. Philbin and a couple other assistant coaches. And McCarthy was today.
Right. Yeah.
Just to clarify.
And so they've lost 3 of 4. I think there must be some heat being turned up. And the reason why you don't call Dan Quinn interim head coach is that team goes out and dominates with Dan Quinn. People are gonna be like, "Whoa, is the wrong?"
They're gonna say that anyway. Doesn't matter.
It's weird that he didn't call him the interim head coach.
That is weird, but it doesn't matter. You can call him. You call him Uncle Rico if you want. If he wins 55-0, you're still like, hey, maybe this guy.
You can just say
you can call him Captain Fart.
He could have just said,
football team.
"Hey, Dan's going to be coaching the team this week." Like, he doesn't even have to put a label on it. Just calling him the point man is just weird. It's like you're going out of your way to not put like ideas in Jerry Jones's head that you need to be replaced.
He's the point person for the decision-making process. And then it was like, but Mike McCarthy, I think it was like Mike McCarthy will be on Zoom calls up until the second the football is kicked off. It's like, what are you doing? What are we talking about?
Although all last year I was wondering if Mike McCarthy was in the hot seat, and then Jerry Jones had to keep answering questions about how he's going to be back next year being this year, of course. And they did better with Dak Prescott, not surprisingly. But I've never been sold on Mike McCarthy as an answer, even after he spent the year, walking the earth looking for football analytics.
He spent the weekend at PFF.
Well, and the thing about this Thursday game is that you have Dan Quinn, a defensive mind. So he is not even going to pay an iota of attention. He's like, Kellen Moore, just do whatever you want, man. Call your game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like looking over your shoulder. I'm not Mike McCarthy. And so if the Cowboys go out and put up 40 points with McCarthy out, definitely that's where you get a little worried.
Kissing Susie Colbert again. And we need to because it used to be like Jason Garrett would pop in and be like, "Hey, Jerry,
Right. This is where
Wade
Wade
screwed that
Phillips
up again.
Yeah, where Wade Phillips got Jason Garrett. We're going to see McCarthy get moored.
I mean, so yeah, I don't know. The point person thing threw me off. I was like, what? Why did he call him a point person? He's just the coach. He's just coaching. He's your defensive coordinator. Now he's the interim head coach. He's coaching the team. There's so many. So, and here's the thing. If the Cowboys were to, and I don't think the Cowboys will miss the playoffs, right?
Good Lord. No, that would be something.
That would be something.
I
But if
mean,
the Cowboys were to lose the division.
3 weeks ago, it was impossible. They're going to miss the playoffs. And now it's at least plausible.
It's unlikely.
What is plausible percentage-wise? What does that mean?
12. I would have said 1%, 0.1% 3 weeks ago before this 3 out of 4 losses started. Now I'd up that to about 12%.
Is there a higher or lower than 12% chance that Debo's Eagles make the playoffs as the 11th seed right now?
Ooh, I would say that's about what the Eagles' percentage is.
All right. So there you go, Debo.
So odds, this does not include Monday Night Football. So it'll change, but they were 94%, 94.4%, but they were definitely 99% 4 weeks ago.
Oh, so they're still 94.
Yeah. I mean, they're still in really good shape. 88% to win the division. Again, this is before the Washington game on Monday Night Football, just looking at Football Outsiders. My whole point is just that if Mike McCarthy, if the Cowboys somehow don't win the division, Mike McCarthy will be on the hot seat. Or if somebody tries to hire Kellen Moore to be their head coach, Mike McCarthy may lose his job at the expense of Kellen Moore, because I don't think Jerry Jones will let Kellen Moore walk out the door.
Well, he has a track record of not letting that happen for sure.
Correct. So, Washington, interesting team. J.D. McKissick got back hurt. Antonio Gibson looked good in this game.
McKissick was seen walking around in the locker room after the game for what that's
That's good. Terry McLaurin, they didn't use the passing game a whole lot here, but scrappy. Their defense is coming on. Scrappy offense, potential problem if you're the Dallas Cowboys.
Washington ran the ball 43 times. The Seahawks only had 43 total plays in the entire game. Like, that's how bonkers this whole thing was. Washington time possession was over 41 minutes. It was.
By the way, this final score should have been 24-7. They blocked the extra point, ran it back, which there's only been the second time in history, I believe, Breech. And then they had that late drive after the touchdown was overturned that made it 17-9.
Yeah, and Joey Sly got injured on that blocked PAT that got returned by the Seahawks. Yeah. And because of that, they couldn't kick a field goal down late in the fourth quarter that would have iced the game. So instead they had to go for it. They don't score because that touchdown gets overturned on the goal line. And that's how you set up a Russell Wilson almost super comeback.
By the way, Joey Sly blew a tire trying to run down that Rasheem Green return. That is all on the kicker, I would guess, Breech. There's no reason for an extra point to be that low where it hits the guy in the stomach, basically. What's your take on why?
Yeah, I mean, unless the Seahawks guy got so much penetration that it's either on the Seahawks guy who penetrates the line and blocks the kick, Brinson.
He was making fun of the word.
Yeah, the tiny package.
Does he accidentally fire up more sexual innuendo than John Breech?
Brinson's trying. I saw it. I saw his fourth grade giggle.
Anyway, go ahead with
it was either Sly's fault or that lineman's fault that let the guy through who blocked the kick. So, you have to go back and watch the film, but it was one of them too. But even if that happens, you shouldn't have a PAT blocked. And also, I'm just shocked that Washington did not have another player on their roster who could kick a 21-yard field goal. I mean,
the punter Trustway was 1 of 6 on field goal attempts in his career.
Somebody in the I think it was Clarence G in the chat said that there's no path for the Cowboys to miss the playoffs. By the way, they have 3 straight road games coming up.
Well, I said last year there was a path to 9 wins. So there's a pathway is not the best thing for. Oh, there it is. Pathway is not the best word to use for the Cowboys. 3 straight
road games in Washington at home, Arizona at home, and then at Philly.
You just said the odds are 94%. Football Outsiders or somewhere else, Stephen O?
Football Outsiders. Probably 91% now that the Washington won.
I don't think. Nah, it won't be. It won't drop that much.
Just saying.
Clarence hating on Football Outsiders, saying it's a 0% chance.
I mean, the Cowboys need to go 2-1.
Well, we just said they're better off without Mike McCarthy, so they have a really good chance of winning this next game. And then after that, they just need one more game, according to your math, right?
Okay.
I mean, they basically do because Washington's 5. If the Cowboys go 3-3, they're in.
Yeah,
That's what it comes down to.
Yes, if the Cowboys go 3-3, they're in the playoffs. Because they're probably more than likely. Yeah, 10 wins gets you in the playoffs.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
That'll do it. That's a recap. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. As always, we appreciate y'all. We will see you tomorrow.